Welcome back to High School Backups Podcast. My name is Jake. I'm here with Kyle, and we are recording this on Thursday night prior to the NHL trade deadline at 3 o'clock tomorrow on Friday. If there are any trades that happen between now and then, we will cover them on Tuesday. But as you can probably already guess by the title of this video and me telling you about the NHL trade deadline, we are recapping the NHL trades that have happened prior to the NHL trade deadline. Kyle, I know that you're incredibly ecstatic about this. We've covered the Tarasenko, O'Reilly, and Bo Horvat trades in other episodes, so we're not going to go over those. But we are going to go over many trades that have happened in the last 48 to 72 hours. I think
10 to be exact. 10 trades to be.
I think the NHL GMs forgot the trade deadline is tomorrow.
Yeah. I don't know what is happening.
Like, they forgot the NHL trade deadline is tomorrow. There's no other explanation.
We've seen some expected people moved. We've seen some very unexpected people moved. All of which has happened before the deadline, which doesn't happen often. Like we don't usually see these kind of moves happening before the actual deadline day. So
Bro,
I think
been
tomorrow,
a week.
it's been literally been a week-long affair. I think tomorrow's going to be very boring when it comes down to it, unless we just see some like drastic teams deciding last minute, blowing it up and moving things.
Before we cover it, I know that Jonathan Quick was moved. Was there a rumor that he's going to be moved again?
He already was. He was just moved again. We're actually going to cover it.
All right, we'll get him.
We actually will cover that. We're jumping ahead of ourselves.
Okay, we're going to start with the first trade. Do you mind if I take it because it's a Bruins trade?
Go for it.
The first big trade we're going to cover is the Dmitry Orlov trade. The Capitals sent... Well, let's start with what the Bruins gave up for Dmitry Orlov. First and foremost, they sent Craig Smith 3 picks, a 2023 first, a 2024 third, and a 2025 second to the Capitals for Dmitry Orlov, Garnet Hathaway, and Andrei Svetlov. There was also the Minnesota Wild involved in this that got a 2023 fifth-round pick and had to take 50% of Orlov's salary. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think the Bruins are the winner here. They get a top 2 defenseman while giving up relatively minor prospects. They also get a quality bottom 6 forward. The Capitals also got a bottom 6 forward and a couple of picks, but it wasn't like they got anything extraordinary. And honestly, a Bruins first-round pick, I'm assuming that's a Bruins first-round pick, is kind of a second-round pick, so I'm not too worried about it, considering they will most likely have the last pick in the NHL draft this year.
Oh, you're getting ahead of yourself, boy. Oh, you're getting
just based on play and points. I mean, that would be the projection. Yeah. That would be the accurate projection.
They are the betting favorite. They are the betting favorite for this. Yeah, I agree with your analysis there. Bruins are the winner. Capitals have already moved on from that first round pick. I forgot who they traded it to. I think that was I think they traded that pick to Toronto. In a trade that we're actually not going to cover, but I believe that pick got flipped to Toronto. It was kind of a little weird trade. I didn't really think it was that important to talk about. But so I don't even think the Capitals have that first round pick. So that to me, that really even settles this.
Yeah, that makes it even worse. That makes it way worse.
Even if the Bruins don't re-sign Orlov, which to me, I don't know if they'll be able to. I'm getting ahead of myself, but I don't know if they'll be able to sign.
Even
Orlov.
if they don't, it's still a W. I don't care.
I agree. Even if they do not sign Orlov, I think it's a W for the Bruins. I agree.
Oh, let's move on to this second trade you want to cover here.
Holy crap.
This is a huge move.
This was a doozy. I remember all the rumors about this player, and I was like, whoever gets this guy is going to have to be for a haul. And then I saw what this team also got in return. I'm like, what the hell is going on? But the trade that I'm talking about is between the New Jersey Devils and the San Jose Sharks that saw Timo Meier leaving San Jose and joining the Devils. The Devils also pick up Timur Ibrahimov, Scott Harrington, Santeri Hataka, Zachary Emond, and a 2024 fifth-round pick. And the Sharks got a 2023 first-round pick that is top 2 protected.
Yeah,
they get a 2024 second-round pick that is protected. They also get a 2024 seventh-round pick. The Sharks had to retain 50% of Timo's salary. They picked up a few prospects, including Shakir. I don't even know. I'm going to butcher his last name. But I'm going to go for Mukamadillin.
I think it's Mukamadillin.
Whatever. I totally botched it. I'm sorry. Nikita Okutiktuk. Andreas
Bro, you
Johnson
can't.
and
You don't even know who
Fabian
these dudes
Sutherland.
are.
Dude, I do not
So,
know who those last two
uh,
are, but I do know who Andreas Johnson and
To
Fabian Sutherland are.
clarify, that
Yes.
2024 second is conditional, not protected. So if the Devils win the first 2 rounds and Mayer
Yes.
in the playoffs in either 23 or 24, and Mayer plays Timo Meyer, I'm sorry, Meyer
Meyer.
plays in at least 50% of the games, then it gets bumped up to a first round pick.
Yes.
But if it's a first
And
round pick, it's top 10 protected.
yeah.
That 2023 first is going to be there regardless because the Devils aren't going to have the second overall pick in the draft. That's just
Unless something
drastic happens. Yeah.
between now and April.
And I mean, that pick can't be top 10 if the Devils are in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Well, actually, it can be because if they win the first 2 rounds of the playoffs in 2023, it could. Okay, but
Yes, essentially.
whatever. As long as the Devils don't fall off a cliff next year, it's gonna be fine.
In short, however, the Devils drastically win this trade. The Sharks get a first-round pick easily, maybe 2 first-round picks for this deal, but those I like to consider draft picks as magic beans, especially when you get to the later rounds of the later first round. Not a lot of superstars are found in the later
Magic
round.
beans?
Yeah, magic beans. Because you never know what you're gonna get, man.
Bro,
That's a little bit of
what?
something. You never know what you're getting with those picks.
in the
You don't know if you're
world?
getting a superstar or a bust, man. So it's a little bit of magic beans in that.
I don't love that. I don't love that.
I picked
analogy.
that up analogy from Steve Dangle. If y'all don't know who Steve Dangle is, go look him up. He is a amazing YouTuber for Sportsnet. He
Oh,
is
my
hilarious.
Lord.
He is a diehard Maple Leafs fan, and I love roasting him every single chance I get when the Maple Leafs don't make it out of the first round. And I'll probably be doing that again this year, so we'll wait and see. Anyway, Devils to me are the clear winner. Not only do they get a top 20 player in the league, they also essentially swap prospects, and they didn't have to give up any of their top prospects to do it. These prospects that they gave up are 10th, 9th in their system. They don't have to give up any of their superstar prospects. So to me, Devils win this trade.
That's good analysis. I agree that the Devils win that trade. Honestly, there was a lot of fleecing going on at the deadline. Not gonna lie to you, a lot of fleecing. We're gonna talk about another fleece that happened earlier today. Not now, but we're gonna get to it later. The third trade we're gonna talk about is the Predators and Lightning trade that involved Tanner Jeannot and Cal Foote. The Predators get Cal Foote, a 2025 conditional first that's top 10 protected, a 2024 second, and a third, fourth, and fifth in 2023, while the Lightning get Tanner Jeannot. Honestly, I'm going to give the nod to the Predators here. I know that the Lightning added a really good, solid young player. He had a great rookie year, but, I mean, he hasn't looked as good this year. The Predators get a massive haul for a young player. They have a top 6 defenseman in there and a slew of picks. I think they're probably going to try to flip those for other assets. If not before the deadline tomorrow, probably during free agency and or the draft and or headed into next year because a lot of these picks are in the future.
Yep.
But I'm going to give the slight nod to the Predators. I don't think it's as one-sided as the Meyer trade we just went over, but just a slight nod.
I'm gonna disagree with you and say that it is not a slight nod to the Predators. It is a absolute drastic nod to the Predators.
Okay.
Lightning, I get it. You're trying to get a young superstar, but you gave up way too much to get him. He had one great year, and he's already died off this year. Like Tanner Jeannot has already jumped off that cliff. Like, and I get it. Second year slumps do happen. They happen in a lot of sports, but they really happen in hockey. It happens all the time with second year slumps. And who knows, next year he may come back, he may be great in the playoffs, but you don't know that. What you're buying for right now is that he is going to continue what he was like last year. And you're giving up a lot to do that. I think what the Lightning gave up, you're just giving up way too much for a player who you don't really know what he's like. You give up these kind of haul, you give this up kind of haul for Ryan O'Reilly. You know what you're getting with that player. You don't really know what you're getting with Tanner Jeannot here. Yeah, he's a great young player. He had one amazing year, but it was just that one amazing year. You don't know if he's going to be able to continue this production. So I think the Predators nailed this trade. I think they saw an opportunity to say, sure, Tanner Jeannot, great young player, but we could essentially double, triple, maybe even quintuple.
See, I just think the move makes a lot of sense for the Lightning as an older
Oh
team
yeah.
that has simply been dominant for the last half decade. They're starting to move out of that window, and I see this move as a plan for the future, where you don't have to take a bet on a rookie. You already know who this guy is. At the very least, you know he can play in the NHL. Whereas if they just wait and try to use a 2025 conditional first, if they're picking in the top 10 anyway, it's protected, so they still get a rookie at that point. And like you said, anybody outside of the top 10, it's a magic bean, Kyle. So I just think the move makes a lot of sense for the Lightning.
It's fair.
We can move to the next trade between the Blackhawks and the Maple Leafs if you want. I know we have some disagreement
Yeah.
here. I
We
know
do- I'm
we have
not-
some disagreement here.
We do have some disagreement here. So this trade involves the Chicago Blackhawks and Toronto Maple Leafs, where the Toronto Maple Leafs pick up Jake McCabe, Sam Lafferty, a 2024 fifth-round pick, and a 2025 fifth-round pick. In exchange, the Blackhawks get Joey Anderson, Pavel Gogolev, a 2025 conditional first-round pick, which is top 10 protected, and a 2026 second-round pick. Um, when I was looking at this, I was really like,
You were going back and forth, right?
yeah, I was like, I don't know who I want to really do here. So I gave the slight nod to the Maple Leafs. The reason I did that is now they have the best centers lineup in the league. They have John Tavares, Austin Matthews, Sam Lafferty, and it doesn't even matter who their fourth one is. You just get those three right there. It's lights out for you in those centers. It'll be tough to win faceoffs against the Lightning. And you get Jake McCabe, who is a solid defenseman. I don't think they gave up the world to get them either. Yeah, they gave up a first and a second, but that first is top 10 protected. So when you're looking at 2 years in the future, who knows what you'll be like in 2 years in the future? And if you absolutely suck, well, then you still get that pick if it's in the top 10, right? So
Yeah, but nobody's expecting the Maple Leafs to suck in a couple years. And
no,
I mean,
if they no,
something
you're right.
something has gone wrong if the Maple Leafs suck in a couple years. But see, I'm going to argue that it was the Blackhawks. I think they got two serviceable players in Golev and Anderson, and they get the picks on the back end where they've essentially upgraded 2 fifth-round picks to 2 high-round picks. And I know that the NHL picks don't matter like as much as any NFL picks do. Where if this was an NFL trade, you'd never trade top 2 rounds for 2 fifths ever. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't see that happen. But I'm still going to value those picks, not like their NFL picks, but I'm going to value those a little bit more and just tend to say I think as long as that condition doesn't hit, that's a win for the Blackhawks. Slightly, but a W for the Blackhawks.
Which is fair, and even if that condition does hit, they still will get a
mean,
first-round pick in the next year.
also-
I'm assuming is what the condition would be. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're not just gonna say, "Oh no, we will let you keep that first-round pick, but they get nothing else in return." So like, I'm assuming there was another added condition where if that condition is met, then they have to get another first later down the line.
I don't think that's a
I'm
thing.
assuming.
I don't think that's a thing here. No, but honestly, you're also talking about the Blackhawks who are in a fire sale at the moment. I mean, they got rid of
And-
Kane. We're still waiting for them to get rid of Taze, I believe.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting what they do with that.
So honestly, at this point, with them trying to build a roster, I think adding as many picks and getting as many top picks is probably the priority.
I agree.
And so that's why, again, another reason that I'm like, okay, this makes sense from the Blackhawks, and that's why it's a W for them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Mind if I take this next one because it's a Ranger one?
Oh, go for it. Absolutely.
All right, sweet. It's the big one.
It's the big one. It's the big one.
It's the big one that the Rangers fans have been waiting for a month now. And if you have been living under a rock, let me enlighten you on what happened. The Rangers pick up superstar Patrick Kane. And in addition,
They didn't
the
give up
Chicago
shit.
Blackhawks. No, they didn't
shit.
give up anything. The Blackhawks receive a 2023 conditional second-round pick and a 2025 fourth-round pick. The conditions on that second-round pick are that if the Rangers win the first 2 rounds in the playoffs, it becomes a first-round pick in either 2024 or 2025. I'm assuming there are more conditions on which one they would give up, depending on playoffs and whatnot.
How did the Coyotes get stuck with 50% of Kane's salary in this trade?
So that's the only way the Rangers could take this trade, really, is if they found someone stupid enough to retain half of the salary. Coyotes, lucky enough, suck just that much, where they were like, "Yeah, why not?" It's only because it's for 1 year. Kane's a pending free agent,
Bro.
so because he's a pending free agent, Coyotes like, yeah, it's just till the end of the year. So as Jake just said, the Coyotes do retain 50% of Kane's salary, and in exchange, the Coyotes get a 2025 third-round pick. So great compensation on the Coyotes end. They get a super nice little dog bone right there in that little draft pick for doing absolutely nothing. They could care less about salary right now. They're like, yeah, give it all to me. They could care less. But in
Dude.
short, Rangers win this trade. I don't think it's any doubt. Blackhawks don't manage to get a solidified first round pick. There are conditions that need to be met in order for that to become a first round pick. They don't get any top prospects from the Rangers. They don't get any roster players from the Rangers. This is literally a win for the Rangers and then some. Even if Patrick Kane doesn't sign with the Rangers again, the Rangers don't really care because they didn't have to give up any current players. They didn't have to give up any future players. They just gave up magic beans. That's all they gave up. So
and they don't have to they don't have to really worry about that condition because they're not getting past the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. So
listen, you. Oh, sneaky. I see what you did there.
Well, I mean, depending on the way the seeding actually works, I could see a Bruins Rangers conference finals. Like I could see that happening.
Oh my
but
God.
I'm dead
that
serious.
Would be a bloodbath. That would be a bloodbath.
I'm dead serious though. Like that could happen.
To be honest, I was just about to say if I were a betting man, I am a betting man.
Yes, you are. I'm not.
If anyone out there are betting people, I would seriously look at putting money on a team from the Western Conference, only because whoever comes out of the Eastern Conference
It's gonna be beat up.
They're gonna go through war to get there. Like they're gonna have to go through the Bruins, the Lightning, the Maple Leafs, the Rangers, the Devils, and the Hurricanes. Like that is brutal.
All of which would be the #1 seed in the West.
Like that is
so just put your bets on the Oilers and just go home.
Oilers or Avalanche. Honestly, put your money on the Avalanche to repeat. All seriousness, like that is probably that's your best odds and best bang for your buck at that point. Like seriously.
Oh my lord! Speaking of the Oilers, this is the perfect transition. The Oilers and Predators. The Predators are featuring twice here, as will the Bruins. The Edmonton Oilers acquired Matthias Ekholm from the Nashville Predators for Tyson Barrie, a 2023 first and sixth, a 2024 fourth, and Reed Schaefer. Yeah, we're gonna give the nod to the Predators here. They got a lot in return for a little. Ekholm for Barrie straight up probably would have been fair. But they got a haul, including a first-round pick and another prospect. I don't know what the Oilers are doing. Nashville, good job. And is Nashville the weird team in the NHL that plays in the Western Conference, but is actually It's the same thing for Memphis in the NBA. Okay, cool. I need to make sure. Because I was about to be like, add another team in the East that's just ridiculous, but never mind, they play in the West.
They do play in the West. Edmonton, what are you doing, guy? Tyson Barrie was one of the favorites in the locker room. He was a fan favorite. He was one of the players that I saw the trade, and I'm like, really?
Did they just not want to?
I don't know. Because I don't even think Barry's a pending free agent.
I was about to say, maybe they didn't want to pay him, but
I think this is just kind of out of the blue where they just wanted. Don't get me wrong. Ekholm is an improvement from Barrie. Barrie isn't quite what he used to be, although I do agree with your assessment that Ekholm for Barrie straight up would probably work. I think you probably would have to throw in a sweetener. Like you could probably just throw in the 4th-round pick and call it a day. Like that would probably be fair. And the Predators were able to swindle the Oilers. From the Oilers' standpoint, I think this kind of shoots yourself in the foot a little bit.
Like this isn't even a cap dump because Ekholm and Barrie have similar cap hits.
Yeah.
Like
I don't.
Okay.
To me, this is a complete strange situation.
That's a weird.
I don't know what the Oilers are doing. But speaking of teams who I don't know what they're doing. Do you want to do it? You want me to do it?
Go ahead. I just think this is the weirdest. This is the weirdest section of the entire video because this is convoluted, and then it's fine. Go ahead.
All right. So this is a two-part trade because the second part of this trade just happened recently. So yesterday, Jonathan Quick was traded from the Kings to the Columbus Blue Jackets. And along with Jonathan Quick, a conditional first-round pick in 2023 and a 2024 third-round pick went to the Blue Jackets. And the Kings got Vladislav Gavrikov and Yunus Korpisalo in exchange. The condition on that first-round pick are if the Kings do not make the playoffs, it becomes 2 second-round picks, one in 2024 and one in 2025 instead. That half of the trade, W for the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolute W for the Blue Jackets. They get a superstar goalie who was once in his prime not that long ago. He struggled as of late, but he was starting to turn it around as the Kings got better and younger. So he was actually having a comeback year, essentially. Jonathan Quick was doing really good. I knew he was a pending free agent. He was likely going to get traded at some point. But it definitely wasn't looking like it was going to be to the Blue Jackets. So that was just like a weird little thing. There were rumors that Jonathan Quick was pissed when it happened, as understandable. Why would you want to go to Columbus? They're the worst team in the league. Also a terrible city to play in. Who the hell wants to play in Columbus? Unless you're Johnny Gaudreau, apparently. I don't know. So that half of the trade, massive W for the Blue Jackets. They got nice picks to go along with it, and they got a great goalie. And then the Blue Jackets said, nah, we don't want him. We don't want him. And decided to trade him to the Vegas Golden Knights for nothing.
Literally nothing.
They got Michael Hutchinson, who was a great backup goalie. Sure, amazing backup goalie, and a 7th-round pick along with it.
That's a lot of moving parts.
A lot of moving parts just to get Jonathan Quick. That half of the trade, massive W for the Golden Knights. You gave up nothing to get it. They've been in goalie hell, kind of. Like, they've been having issues. They've been playing an AHL goalie as their starter, who was an all-star, mind you. So I'm not going to say, like, he's been playing bad. Like, he has been he was an all-star. Hold on one second. My dog is deciding to eat things here.
Hey, Molly.
Molly, cut it out. All right, anyway. So, like, Vegas now gets a better goalie to lead them into the playoffs. So I think Vegas, massive W out of that whole nonsense. Kings, actually, I'm going to say come in second because they do get Yunus Korpisalo out of it, who is a great goalie.
And, and then the Blue Jackets just get a conditional first, a third, a 7th, and Hutchinson. Like, you could have just made this a 3-team trade. You could have just done that.
You could have just done that. I wonder if that's what they were trying to do originally, but then
the Knights
something fell through. The Knights fell through at one end or something. Whatever happened, it seems like whatever the 3rd-team trade was going to be, it just didn't work out.
Well, it doesn't even make sense. Like, even if the Kings just didn't want to trade Quick within conference because the Blue Jackets and the Kings play in the same conference, so it's not like maybe they just spite Vegas. I don't know.
I don't like it. Not even within conference; it would be within division too. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, but still, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense.
To me, I also don't think it makes sense. But W for the Golden Knights, great job. You guys get a goalie for the playoffs. So
let's move on to let's move on to a player getting out of hockey hell. The Ottawa Senators pick up Jacob Chychrun from the Coyotes for a 2023 top 5 protected first, a 2024 conditional second. Where if the Senators win 2 rounds in 2023, the pick becomes a 2025 first round top 10 protected, and then a 2026 second. I mean, the Senators won this trade. They pick up one of the best defensemen in the league, and both of the picks, like both of the first-round picks, are protected.
Yeah.
I mean, mind you, they're not going to be top 5. Like, they won't pick in the top 5 again unless something drastic happens. But
unless something drastic, the Senators are doing better than they have been.
And who cares? Because the Coyotes can't draft for shit.
No, the Coyotes
who cares?
have them the Coyotes have been collecting lots and lots and lots of picks, so
They're
I'm
like,
sure
fuck it. One of them's got, like, it's like this
one of them's gonna pan
it's,
out.
It's like one of those quarterback memes where their eyes are closed. It's like, fuck it. Someone's got to be down there somewhere.
Like, literally, they're like, so one of you is gonna be a I almost just said pro bowler. One of you is gonna be a Hall of Famer. I guarantee. I don't know who, but one of you.
One of you is going to be good.
Yeah, Coyotes are. I understand why the Coyote. To be honest, I think this is actually a pretty evenly split trade. To be honest,
Yeah.
Coyotes knew they were going to have to trade Jacob Hickren. They knew it was happening. He had been rumored to be traded since last year's trade deadline. It was only a matter of time. To be honest, I didn't think they would be able to find a suitor for him. I didn't think they would get one done. But I think they got a great haul for him. I think the team that got him needed it. They definitely needed the help. I hope the Senators aren't done for the other players on that roster's sake. I hope they can go get a little bit more if they're going to stand a chance in the Eastern Conference. Like, if they want to stand a chance to make the playoffs and then win a round, they need to go out and get so they need to go out and get like Jonathan Taylor.
I was about to say the Senators don't need to worry about that conditional second because they're not getting past the first two rounds.
Like seriously, like I don't even think they'll get past the first round. Like, if I'm a Senators fan, I would be ecstatic if they make the playoffs. I don't care if they win a round. Like I don't know if you can really expect to win a round if you are not one of the top six teams. Yeah, like if you're a wild card team, be happy to be there. Like, serious, be happy you're there. To be honest, because it's gonna be hell.
This is the worst time to be in the Eastern Conference right now. It's
awful.
Nuts. It's like it's the difference between the AFC and the NFC right now in the NFL. It's the same difference. Like
100%. It's 100%.
And you mind if I take the last one?
Go for it.
All right, it's the best trade. It's the best trade of the deadline.
Boo.
Bro, the Bruins straight up fleeced the Red Wings. What a historically great franchise has come to. No, the Bruins traded for Tyler Bertuzzi from the Detroit Red Wings for a 2024 conditional first, which is top 10 protected. So if the Boston Bruins decide to tank next year, they can get their first round pick back. A 2025 fourth and 50% of Bertuzzi's salary. Apparently, the Bruins want to work with Bertuzzi on a long-term deal. So as long as that gets done, I think that's I think it's a fleece anyway. But if they can get a long-term deal out of it, it's amazing. Bruh, what? What is this? Yeah. Don Sweeney fleeced these dudes. I don't know who the Detroit Red Wings GM is, but I could do better.
I forgot his name.
I don't care what his name is.
I think it's Steve Yzerman, to be honest.
Like, I don't care what his name is.
I think because it's normally, if it's Steve Yzerman, who I think it is Steve Yzerman. He has been an amazing GM. He's the one who built the current Lightning team. Like, the current Lightning team was built by Steve Yzerman. So, like, he knows how to draft. He knows how to trade. He knows what he's doing. I think he was hit in the head before making this trade. I get it. Tyler Bertuzzi wanted out. They were having issues with signing contract extension issues. They were not seeing eye to eye.
Makes sense.
The Red Wings prioritized signing their captain Dylan Larkin, which they did earlier this week.
I mean, it makes sense.
So the Red Wings prioritized Dylan Larkin. Tyler Bertuzzi felt shafted essentially and said, "I want out." So when you look at it that way, I think it's a pretty 50-50 split.
It makes more sense.
It makes more sense when you look at it why the Red Wings did this. Molly is throwing the library on top of my foot right now. She's dropping all of these books on top of me.
Molly.
Okay, you need to go. Go. I am in the middle. Go. Okay. I apologize for that. All right,
You're
anyway.
good, dude. That's hilarious.
So like when you look at it, why the Red Wings made this move, it makes sense. They just wanted to get something rather than nothing.
Yeah.
And I think what they were able to get, decent. I think they could have gotten a lot more.
Probably.
The fact that they had to retain some of the salary
50%
hurts them a little bit. It's granted it is only for the rest of the year, but that still hurts. You won't be able to go and find another Tyler Bertuzzi. Like, you're not going to go and find him with retaining half of his salary anywhere. It's just not going to happen. So, like, from the Bruins standpoint,
W.
You essentially, Taylor Hall got hurt, and you just said, "Now I'll take Taylor Hall right back." Is essentially what you just did. You found another Taylor Hall who can score, and you mixed in Brad Marchand with him. He's like Tyler Bertuzzi is literally the perfect mix of Taylor Hall and Brad Marchand. I am going to hate. I'm going to the Rangers Bruins game on Saturday night with my fiance.
And you're gonna get your ass kicked.
And I'm gonna love when Patrick Kane scores a hat trick on him, but I'm gonna hate having to play against Marchand and Bertuzzi.
Allmark's gonna wall you and you know it. Go home.
I hope. Look, I am not going home. I spent good money on that game. But anyway, W, honestly, for both teams, but slight edge to the Bruins because they were able to replace a star player pretty quickly. So just to also let everyone know, Taylor Hall did go on LTIR, which, Jake, if you don't know, that is long-term injury
reserve. Yeah.
Yes, correct. So basically, the way the NHL does it and has it set up is now Taylor Hall's contract doesn't go against the salary cap.
Yeah.
For while he's on that, which is why a lot of teams throw someone who's injured, who might not necessarily be injured long term, on LTIR. Because once it hits playoffs, the cap doesn't matter. So
you just pull him back for the playoffs.
Exactly, which is what the Tampa Bay Lightning did and the Vegas Golden Knights did. The Chicago Blackhawks did it years ago because it's all perfectly legal according to the current rules of the NHL and NHL Players Association. They have been getting a lot of heat for that, so I assume when the next time comes to redo the NHLPA, that will definitely be gone.
The CBA,
because I'm sure fans are definitely sick of teams taking full advantage of it.
As far as teams go, they're playing within the rules.
They are. Teams are doing absolutely nothing illegal. I will not be surprised one bit if as soon as the regular season ends and the playoffs begin, Taylor Hall is magically healthy. I will not be surprised one bit. I will be fully expecting to see Taylor Hall in the first round of the playoffs. Every single fan watching this video should fully expect Taylor Hall to be ready come playoff time.
I do.
The Bruins are totally circumnavigating the cap, and they're doing it totally legally. Nothing wrong with it.
Kyle, you were so mad in the chat, dude. You were so mad.
I was so mad because at first they didn't announce Taylor Hall was going on LTIR.
And so then they didn't announce that it was 50% of the cap,
if they literally
50% of the salary either.
Exactly. None of that was reported at first. So it was literally just Tyler Bertuzzi going on to the Bruins. I'm like, how the hell is this possible? They don't have the cap for this. I was so mad. I was like screaming in all caps, like in our group chat. I was like, this is ridiculous. And then slowly but surely the things got released and I was like, okay, it's making sense now. I'm less mad. But regardless.
Oh, man. Yeah. All right. Real quick before we sign off, who are the winners of the trade deadline? Just the one team that won the trade deadline.
So far, I think I really have to give it to the Bruins. I'm not going to lie.
Okay, I expected you to say Rangers. I also think it's the Bruins. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought you were going to say the Rangers with the Patrick Kane trade. I think the Bruins have done an incredible job.
I think the Bruins did an amazing. They've fixed their defense, who I thought was their biggest hole of their whole roster. They essentially replaced injured Taylor Hall for the rest of the regular season. Taylor Hall is coming back in the playoffs, and they still will get Tyler Bertuzzi for that. Bruins really just got better. The rich get richer, essentially. If I'm going to pick a second, I don't even think it's the Rangers at second best. I honestly think it's the Maple Leafs.
Okay.
I think the Maple Leafs did not necessarily fixed holes, but solidified.
They got players who can help fill holes.
Exactly. They got players where in case they have injuries, they have people to fix it. Rangers, if there's an injury with the Rangers, we're done for. Rangers need to. That's my big issue right now.
They need to bet on health.
Exactly. If we're not healthy, we're done. And right now, one of our defensemen is injured and another one is suspended. So we're rolling with 4 defensemen at the moment. We were able to win last night, but it was against the Flyers, and we only were able to win in overtime. So that didn't look great. So we should have blown them away. But that's besides the point. So yeah, the winner I think is the Bruins. They got better. Maple Leafs, I say, are the second best. They found holes to fill in case of injuries. Third best winner, I'm going to go with the Predators. I think Predators got a lot of assets they can flip. Probably not this year, but probably on trade deadline, not trade deadline, on draft day, and when free agency opens, I could see the Predators making a lot of moves this summer.
Makes
So
sense.
I'm gonna say the Predators are the third. What about you?
I'm
Who's your
just gonna.
second and three?
I'm just gonna. I mean, I think Vegas added a lot, so I'm gonna guess.
That's true.
I'm gonna go with there at 2 because I think they needed a goalie. I don't think it pushes them over the top by any means, but if you can add Jonathan Quick, who's probably a Hall of Fame goaltender to your roster, you're probably gonna take that. I would also say that I kind of really liked the Blackhawks moves. Again, I think they did a good job adding for the future. They're a team that I think if they move off Tays and add more assets before the trade deadline ends, even though they got rid of a lot of talent, including Patrick Kane and what would be Jonathan Tays, I think that's where they need to be right now. So a lot of people are going to look at their trades as L's, where I'm looking at it from the perspective of where they're at as a team. And I think the Blackhawks would be winners if they continue to add assets.
Fair enough. I completely agree with that.
All right. And on that note, guys, we love you. If you watched the entire video, thank you so much. Make sure to go like, subscribe, hit the bell. You know what it is. Make sure you go follow us on social media, High School Backups on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. On that note, peace.